in China, and any intellectuals must be familiar with the Buddhist texts. So therefore, it's no wonder for Chinese novelist Wu Chen-en wrote a book at a journey to the West. West means to India, the West, heaven in the West. As the Chinese concept of India in a long history. And Wu Chen-en, so he was a very, like any other Chinese writers, must be familiar with the Buddhist text scriptures. Here I would like to say that in Chinese, Ambassador talks about this. So, on my first section of my speech, a miniature Ramayana in Chinese Buddhist scriptures. The core story of the Ramayana became known to the Chinese in the first half of the first millennium AD through the translation of Buddhist scriptures. During the Northern Wei dynasty, that is from 386 to 534, the Sangyu Latna, Bidogo Sutro, in Chinese, 杂宝藏经, scripture of various treasures, was translated into Chinese. And the context of the first volume or book of the scripture entitled 多寿罗头瓦达那，我们 in Chinese we call it the 十舍王元 can give us some hints or senses of the first half of the Ramayana. And this piece of text has been included in Professor Liu Jian's very important paper, that is Ramayana in China, which has a Chinese version and also an English version. The English version was done by an English speaker called Richard. And with the help of Chinese Yu Dong和一个叫理查德 both of them translated the paper into English. It's available from the collection of collected works of Professor Liu Jian. And in 2012, the Professor Anson Singh with the New York University sent me an invitation, asked me to retranslate the Ramayana in China. I asked him why. They have done a good job. But he's not so satisfied with the translation. So I worked on the paper for about half a month, and it was submitted to the China report, the Institute of China Studies in New Delhi. But I have not seen the journal so far. I don't know whether it has been published or not. Anyway, I have corrected some mistakes and did some work for this important paper. So we have no time to go over this translation of the Buddhist text. It is long, 2 pages or so. And we know that when we read this Buddhist scripture text, Chinese may find it very familiar. Some elements we have already known through Chinese novels, storytelling, and through Buddhist scriptures. And when the Indian reads this English text, they may find, oh, this is our Ramayana. I think that this can explain why Ramayana has been so influential in China and be known to intellectuals. And now it has been translated completely into Chinese, so it has been gradually known by our younger generations. Then the second half of the core context of the Ramayana has been known to Chinese earlier than the first half, through the translation of the Sai Miso, Sani Ba Sudra. We call it the Liu Jian, 6 approaches. During the period of 3 kingdoms. The second half of Ramayana earlier, the first part and later. The 46th story on Scripture tells us about the book 3 to book 7 of Ramayana. The 2 pieces of text are extremely valuable, primitive material for us to make the judgment on the influence of the Ramayana in China. If we put them together, form a miniature Ramayana, from the books I have read, I find out that the 2 Chinese texts have been quoted or translated into English by several scholars. At first, I think it was done by Liu Jian as a female scholar in Taiwan. Her book was entitled in Chinese, A Brief History of China-India Cultural Exchanges, published about in 1955 or so. And then we saw that when Professor Liu Jian also gave a great value to the text from the Buddhist scriptures in his paper, Ramayana in China. And also the Indian scholar, Ramayana, a famous Indian Sanskrit scholar. He came to China and learned this and obtained these texts and put them into English. Okay, this is, I mean that we still have a lot of work to do to explore further into the context in the Chinese Buddhist scriptures. That we can trace the dissemination, the evolution, and the acceptance of Ramayana in various parts in China. Not only in the minor nationalities in Yunnan province, but also in mainland China. And how the Rama story became known, not only through text I think also maybe through the nightly talk, merchants, scholars at night. They talk to each other, they talk about some strange story from Ramayana. And also the Chinese scholars, monks, they went to India, they heard or witnessed book tellers at night to tell the story of Ramayana. But they left only very simple, very short, brief records. Our younger generation, young scholars, we have a lot of work to do. Okay, second part of the my speech. The influence of the Ramayana on the journey to the West. Journey to the West, we also touched on. I also translated as the pilgrimage to the West. Maybe this is better. So just now I talked about the Asian China intellectuals generally read Buddhist scriptures and knew something about the Buddha. If you didn't know Buddhism, then you would be regarded as ignorant. In this way, they also learned something Hindu and other aspects of Indian culture and civilization. Journey to the West has been extremely popular with a lot of knowledge since its creation in 1570s. So the monkey is the principal hero of the novel, and his unique image as a miraculous monkey can be traced to Hanuman, the monkey in the Hanuman is also loved by everyone in India. Although the legend of the monkey prince who assisted Xuan Zang in his adventurous seeking of Buddhist scriptures in India has undergone some changes before the novel came into being. Modern Chinese scholars generally agree that the image of Sun Wukong comes from that of Hanuman. Therefore, Sun Wukong is not a domestic product, but a character from India. Dr. Hu Shi was a great representative of holding such an argument in his paper called Study of the Journey to the West, whereas Liu Jian, a great writer in the history of modern Chinese literature, voiced a different opinion, asserting that Sun Wukong was a domestic product. Professor Chen Yi-ke, also a great professor, confirmed that even the stories of the three disciples of Xuan Zang could be traced to Buddhist scripture. Quite a few details in the journey to the West are similar to those in the Ramayana, and are